This one doesn't work either. Thank you. I'm gonna check them. Look at that.
Perfect, 2 for 2.
I know, 2 for 2. Not bad. Still got it. Oh, this is a really nice pen, too. I like the way it writes. Okay. Yeah, we can't. So this is going to be easy. You two, we were at this meeting. We are going to put this forward that we are on the committee to decide this shit. Okay?
Okay.
Because no one else was decided to come to the meeting, so it's you and me. Right?
So we can put this forward, what do you mean?
They're going to talk about forming a committee to, you remember how all the things were reviewed?
Yes.
You and I will be on it instead of anybody else. Because you are. All right, hey, we're going live, right? So Economic Development Committee meeting, this June 1st, 2023, 3:30. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. It's, do we have any courtesy of the floor? You're good? Okay. Then we'll get right to the presentation regarding the whole home repairs. I'm excited about this.
All right. Good afternoon, County Council Commissioners. Hope everyone's having a great day. We're excited here to start going over our 2023 Whole Home Repairs Program. So I know many of you have probably heard calls from constituents or seen stuff in the news, and we take all that into consideration, and here we go. The Whole Home Program is actually from the ARP funding to the state, and they designated a portion of their ARP funding to this Whole Home Repair Program to provide countywide agencies the ability to address habitability and safety concerns, provide measures to improve energy and water efficiency, and make units accessible for individuals with disabilities. Additionally, this program provides funding for counties for construction-related workforce development. So when they came out with this program, it was kind of open-ended. They gave us basic categories on what we could kind of do with the funds. So it's homeowner repair grants and loans, workforce training, and program implementation / administration. So right here is how we have broken down our funds for now. We have about $1.5 million to homeowner repair grants, $450,000 to workforce training, about $230,000 to program implementation and management, and $91,000 for administration. So homeowner grants have been the hot topic here. Yeah, everyone's kind of waiting to see how it goes. Right now, as we're using it, the eligible use is a max of $20,000 per applicant. These are projects to address habitability concerns, improve energy and water efficiency, and make units accessible to individuals. The two definitions we have there for habitability and accessibility are what they provided to us as definitions of what those mean. It's pretty straightforward as far as what we're looking for here, things that prevent people from living in their homes or trying to make it safe and accessible for those with ADA issues. Eligible applicants, this is the key. You must be certified that your household income does not exceed 80% of the area median income. While this does include owner-occupants of manufactured homes, that is the key, making sure you're income qualified for this program. As applications come through, a committee has been formed with community leaders throughout the county to ensure that we have an equitable process of selection and to create a municipal connection with approved applicants.
Can I ask a question real quick on that slide?
Sure.
I was under the impression that the whole home repair program would allow for landlords to apply for leased properties. Now, does that mean that the owner has to be under 80% of the median, or that the occupant?
So for the program as we're administering it now is that we are focusing on homeowners for this program. We saw that through our emergency rental assistance program, Yardi has about over 2,000 cases where we assisted landlords throughout this process. And we saw an opportunity to help make meaningful impact on homeowners. For a situation like you're concerning where someone may live in a unit but rent out another portion, we are still considering that a landlord at the time.
Okay. Thank you.
The general process. So it's pretty straightforward. We're trying to advertise the program through our various, outlets, using social media, trying to get the word out there on the proper intake and what applicants are going to need. To make this as streamlined as possible and make sure that we have people who are truly eligible for the program, we're using a similar tactic to what we did for our award-winning ERAP and CMED program. So we're using our homeowner advocates, who are our rental assistance advocates, to kind of walk people through, take them by the hand to make sure that they have all their ducks in a row before they apply. Once these applications are vetted through that process from an income standpoint, they'll go to the committee where they'll be prioritized based off of meaningfulness, impact, region, et cetera, to try to make the most impact with the dollars with the grants. From there, they'll be issued an award notification where they will then get a selection of contractors where we will provide a list from contractors that have been RFQ'd for eligibility. These contractors are already vetted, but if one chooses to go in a different direction, those contractors will be put through the same teeth just to make sure that they have all their insurances and certifications to meet the same qualifications as the rest. From that, once they make their contract with the contractors, we'll receive the invoices for the work to be performed, and payments will go directly to the contractor.
Go ahead.
So the vetting consists of basically that you're a legit contractor, is that correct? I mean,
Sure.
there's a lot of people that work for cash and construction, so I'm glad we're gonna make sure they're at least tax-paying contractors.
Exactly.
Especially some of these would be small jobs.
And that's the thing. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we're, helping with smaller contractors. That's what part of our RFQ is, to make sure we have a list for homeowners who may not be even aware of qualified contractors, to kind of give them an opportunity to, select on their own merit ones that have been vetted beforehand.
Is there any other vetting besides making sure they have insurance and that they, have a tax number and they're a legit contractor?
It's the same principles as what you just mentioned, making sure that they have all their qualifications
So
and
there's
whatnot.
really nothing other that the small contractor needs to do than be a legit small contractor?
Correct.
Perfect, thank you.
Any questions about the process? All right, we'll move on. So the second portion of the funding is actually for workforce training programs. And through this, we kind of see a continuum of seeing this program feed into one another. So if we can create systems and programs that help train new contractors or bring contractors up to a certain level of training, those contractors could eventually potentially work on some of the projects down the line. So we have with us today the folks from Northampton Community College. We have Sean Brandel and Lauren Loeffler, who will be going over their program today. Yep.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and explain what our piece of this exciting project is. I'm Lauren Loeffler. I'm the Vice President of Workforce Development and Community Education at Northampton Community College. And my colleague is Sean Brandel, who is our director of our Fab Lab, where a lot of hands-on training for this program will occur. And that's in our building, the Fowler Southside Center. That's on East 3rd Street, right in front of the steel stacks in Bethlehem. So I think all of you have a copy of our PowerPoint, and let me hope that I am, sorry, never mind. So I will just go from paper then. So our piece of this is to work with both the contractors, legitimate contractors that have been identified by the gentleman prior to us, what he was explaining, and individuals that would go to work for these contractors, doing a lot of the hands-on work and remediation in the variety of homes that we're talking about here for this contract. Our piece is a $200,000 carve-out that would provide training over the course of 2 years for these two groups, the contractors and then the employees, the construction workers themselves. And what we're going to be focusing on for general and remodeling contractors is general education and information related to product installation, all different types of construction methodologies, safe construction, obviously, energy efficiency, how to deal with ADA concerns for the homeowners or tenants that might need that type of assistance. Obviously, all the building code stuff, because we want all this construction to pass inspection when all of it's done, said and done. And then, one of our sweet spots at the college is occupational health and safety. That's a big piece of what we deliver to companies, government agencies, all over the state of Pennsylvania. So what we want to do is focus on existing general and remodeling contractors, as I said, and they would be performing all of these different activities and construction remedies within the scope of the general grant. So a few of the main areas where there's going to be focus, we have to make sure that the individuals who are installing windows, doors, whether it's plumbing, fixtures, appliances, et cetera, need to be doing that based on manufacturer spec. So we will be working with manufacturers and making sure that all of those pieces are in place so that we can avoid rework and additional expense or product failure if things are not done correctly. Just want to make sure that general skill sets are in place, again, to make sure that we avoid rework, work is done in an efficient manner, and so that these contractors can properly explain things and manage the individuals who are going to be doing a lot of the construction work for them, again, to save time, money, and effort. And building code awareness, as we said, it's going to be very, very key because we want to make sure that all of this work is going to pass any inspection so that people can, be in a safer home environment as quickly as possible. Or, make sure that work is done up to code and up to spec so that there are no issues moving forward and that this will be long-lasting remediation for the homes that are worked on. And again, occupational health and safety concerns are really of the utmost importance because we want to keep our contractors, all the workers, and obviously the occupants safe in these homes. So the last piece for this, we're looking at 8 hours per topic, so it's going to be about a total or a minimum of 60 hours. So it would be about 7 full days plus OSHA 10, which is obviously going to be very, very key to this. We do a tremendous amount of that training, so that's going to be very valuable to all these contractors. We're also going to do outreach training, and again, some of the areas of focus are going to be fall protection because people are going to be up on scaffolding, using ladders, climbing all over the place. We need to make sure that that piece is covered. Respiratory protection, because when you think about sawdust, paint fumes, all different kinds of chemical fumes, and insulation, and some of the things that become airborne, we have to make sure that people are protecting their lungs, want to make sure that that's taken care of. And then just hazard communication. If something does happen to go wrong, exactly what do you do to make sure you get the quickest response possible to keep somebody safe and make sure that the worst is avoided. Something else that we offer at the college is something called Command Spanish. And as we get into this and the contractors are identified and the individuals are recruited to end up getting the construction training, many of the individuals in the Lehigh Valley who might be interested in this work may not be native English speakers. The college does a lot of ESL training to get people up to speed on English if they are the worker. We also provide training to managers, in this case these contractors, to teach them basic managerial Spanish so that they can communicate effectively with the workers. So if we find that many of the individuals coming through do need some assistance with English or Spanish, we can cover both ends of that piece. Wow. Yeah, so that should be very, very useful. I've got a funny feeling a lot of these people may be Spanish speakers, so we'll be able to help them and their managers do the best job possible. So I will turn this over to Sean so he can talk about the actual construction worker piece.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks for having us. So as Lauren said, this is kind of broken into two parts. So part one is the contractors, and part two would be the workforce development and the trainees. So the focus is developing, excuse me, is on development of workforce of opportunities through the training of basic construction methods and operations for new and current and existing employees. So the intention to provide basic introductory or reinforcing education and information related to these product installations. So construction methodologies, energy efficient concerns, disabilities awareness, building code requirements, and occupational safety and health concerns. So the topics on the hands-on portion of this would be hand tools, power tools, basic carpentry, framing, selected demolition basics, drywall and wall repairs, insulation installment, basic painting and finishing, door and window installations, building code awareness, occupational safety, and health concerns. So that's kind of going back to the OSHA 10, where the emphasis will be on fall protection, respiratory protection, and hazard communication. So in the lab, we have all the tools necessary to teach the basic hand tools and all the kind of the craftsmanship of construction. So on this portion, it would be a suggested minimum 6-week to maximum 8-week program. So again, roughly the minimum of 60 hours is on the second portion of this training. So coupled with on-site hands-on experience through committed employer partnerships. Identification and recruitment of trainees would be performed by others, but limited advisory options are available per request. All tools, equipment, materials, and resources associated with the training proposal are included in the proposed fee. So we have a breakdown of the $200,000, and that comes out to roughly about $2,175 per participant for the contractors and $3,912.50 per participant of the trainees.
How much again was it for the contractor?
The next page there is $2,175 per participant.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I jumped a little ahead. So again, this would be broken off over the 2 years, so we got 24 months, and basically one cohort per contractor and employee section per semester. That's the way it's going to work.
Yeah, go ahead. Mr. Lai.
Thank you. First, I'm really excited that you're focusing on OSHA safety. You guys are cramming a lot in a very short time, so best of luck with that. But I love the fact that you are going to emphasize safety in OSHA. People in construction deal with a lot of materials that are not safe, and you see it not dealt with properly all the time. I also like the fact that you educate yourself enough to know that there's a real need for Spanish-speaking education there. So as that's needed, you're available. So those are wonderful, wonderful things I think you got going. The one question, I don't know if it's to you guys, but does every contractor that's going to do this work have to go through this? Or is this an optional for the contractors? Because it's
Yeah.
going to take some time to run them through. So I'm just kind of curious if it's an option.
No, it's not even us technically optional. This is to kind of build upon that. So to do the work performed, it is not required to go through any of these programs. This is just an additional resource to our contracting community.
So this is not a requirement? Because I would
Not
think
currently.
I would think that most contractors know how to do a lot of this stuff.
Well, yeah, but anytime you get OSHA, OSHA 10 is
you
going to
have to
cost you, it costs you as a contractor, or you as an employee money. So there's an advantage right there. And if you look at these numbers, these contractors are getting, I think it was 2,000, and an employee was
2,175.
almost 4,000. So
So just the OSHA training alone is
I
worth this?
think the OSHA, it's being required more and more, not on residential, but on commercial work, you have to have OSHA to be out there. And I think it's a couple $100. I don't really remember what the number was, but it was, I know some of the guys I worked with had to pay for it themselves. So I think you should get a pretty good turnout for this. I would love to see it mandatory, but I don't see how that would actually mesh well with timing, getting these contractors through this while starting this project. So I understand it, and it's probably not up to us if it's mandatory or not anyway. So I like a lot what you guys are doing. I think I don't know if you can, I will say this, you can't teach carpentry in 60 hours, but you can teach safety.
We can teach basics, and that's the idea, is to teach safety and basics, because, what we've seen in workforce development in construction and manufacturing is that a lot of employers are having to hire people that might not have the qualifications right off the bat. So this is a chance to get new employees upskilled and where they need to be because of just having trouble finding hires.
And there's such a shortage. I think this will work. I think there's such a shortage in construction right now that this is not, I don't believe this teacher's a guy that's seasoned anything except for the proper installation, because a lot of people have done things wrong their whole career. And it also
Codes
teaches a
change.
lot of people the safety aspects. And so a seasoned guy can get stuff out of this, I believe, from the way you're laying it out. But somebody brand new, green, as we would say, hopefully it keeps them from hurting themselves with the saw,
Right.
hurting
Or
themselves with the
somebody else.
drill,
Keeping all their
or somebody
fingers.
else. So best of luck. I'm wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you.
A couple of things that I would add too, some of the points that you've made me think about some different aspects of this. There may be contractors, oh, certainly, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
please, yes.
Sorry. There may be contractors that are newer in business where maybe they don't have quite as much experience as some of the seasoned people. This would be helpful to them. I think with OSHA training, there are times if you've got certain OSHA certifications, it can save you on your business insurance. So that's another motivator to get
an
people to
incentive, yeah.
take advantage of that. And I don't know if any of you or all of you are familiar with the fact that Northampton Community College is an OSHA OTI education center. Basically, that means we're allowed to teach any and every OSHA course that is a numbered course in a 5-state area. There are many, many courses that unless you're very specifically qualified, you are not allowed to teach and you cannot provide certification. So for example, if, OSHA gets a call saying, the Bob Smith Contracting Company wants to, get hazardous spill training, we immediately get a call from OSHA saying, contact these people, you're the only ones who can provide it. So we really do have a tremendous depth of knowledge in the safety and hazard avoidance arena, and would be very, very grateful to pass as much of that on as we can to any of these contractors or their subsequent employees.
I just have a question on the numbers. So it's 5 contractors that go through 4 semesters, or they're just going to have to go through 1 semester?
5 contractors per cohort. So there's 4, so a total of 20 contractors.
20 contractors. So every semester, you're going to be churning out 5 contractors who could be right in the workforce.
Correct.
And it's nice because that's a small group.
It's very small,
Get
yeah.
a lot of very, very personalized attention, one-on-one attention. And again, some of this is, didactic. Here I am, sorry.
Sorry.
You're in a classroom absorbing a lot of lecture and information. Granted, a lot of it is hands-on as well, but there's just going to be a lot of one-on-one opportunity for these people to learn really thoroughly.
Do you have any questions, Carrie?
Sorry, I came in a little late.
okay.
Where's this being done at? Because I see the one building's on the south side.
So sorry.
Yes, it'd be Southside Bethlehem there. So our facility is right on 3rd Street down from the casino.
Fab Lab.
Okay, I know exactly where you are.
A visit.
Oh, yeah, I was
It's a
there.
fun
the other
place to
night. It was
be.
very nice. So this is not anything that will be offered on main campus or in Monroe?
As of this point, no.
No. Okay. And who will be the instructors for this? Just you?
No, I'm not one of the instructors.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess oversee the fabrication lab. But we have designated instructors for each topic.
Anything else?
Are you going to use guys, are you going to be doing like an apprenticeship program with this? No, just training folks OSHA standards.
So it wouldn't count as an apprenticeship?
That's not bad.
Would,
This is the type of training that we would really consider to be pre-apprenticeship training, where if somebody really took to this and decided they were very, very interested in having this as a lifelong career, we could then help figure out where there are state-registered apprenticeship programs, perhaps with some of the unions in the area, and feed them, in that direction,
right.
if that's something they were interested in pursuing.
Is that where the IBW comes in, or
It could be,
the carpenters, or any of the other unions?
yes.
Any of the labor forces.
Yep.
Yeah, because there are a lot of, some municipalities, and including Northampton County, has a responsible contractor ordinance where we have to hire people who have gone through a certified apprentice program. And so we have found that there's sometimes some limitations in the bidding process because of the limited numbers of people who have gone through these apprentice programs. So this would be an added benefit to that as well. And I know there are some other municipalities that are looking at RCOs as well. And so we want to make sure that people have high-level training, that they can do the work, and that they're also getting paid a fair wage and benefits and everything else.
There's one last thing that I would add. We do a lot of industrial skills training, hands-on training like this. Some of it with DCED money, some of it's paid, depends upon the program. But what our instructors always tell us, whether there's one instructor for a program or several based on the different areas of expertise that are necessary, you vet people, you try to find the best people that you think are capable of succeeding and are going to stick with it. But what our instructors always say is this is like an 8-week job interview where People show up every day, they work hard, they play nice in teams, they figure out how to problem solve, they're a good citizen in the program. And when they're done at that point, we feel very, very confident that we are going to feed an excellent entry-level employee out to the contractor, the business owner, whatever the program happens to be. But we spend a lot of time with these people, coaching them, and it's not just all about hands-on skills. A lot of it's employability skills training, too. So, we coach them to want to be good employees and have a good work ethic.
Go ahead, Mr. Lott.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because there's a lot of apprenticeship programs of 4 or 5 years, for most apprenticeship programs. If you want as an individual, you can be trained in commercial construction, but there's very limited training in residential. So I think you're really filling in a gap here. We do the same thing in the Carpenters Union. We have a pre-apprentice, and I was thinking the whole time, this is very much like our pre-apprentice. Before we even take the kid, even consider bringing it, we run them through a pre-apprentice, because we want them to know what they're getting into, because it's not an easy way to make a living. It's, it's dirty, it's dusty, it's dangerous. So I applaud you. I think you're really hitting a spot that doesn't have a lot out there. Residential really doesn't have a lot of training out there. It's kind of all hands-on training, and if you look at some of the residential pictures you see that OSHA sends you, look at this, look at that. You can see these people obviously weren't trained at all, because they just wouldn't put a ladder on top of a baker scaffold, and work off it. But there is a picture up
somebody
getting
will.
to the window. So anyway, thank you. I very much supportive of the niche you're filling, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We're good. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
And there's more, right?
And just wanted to touch on the fact that you guys mentioned the idea of the apprenticeship. So we are working with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 375, and kind of allowing them to assist with Northampton County applicants who have been accepted and kind of cover the costs associated with any barriers that might prevent a student from participating in the apprenticeship. So they're covering the cost of books, online curriculum, lab materials, basic hand tools, and instructor pay for those working with Northampton County residents. And then kind of the full circle idea about having safety and making sure that we're dealing with that. We are also funding another round of our lead abatement certification program that we've run before, and just trying to cover our bases on making sure that we make a workforce that's trained and able to work with any of the hazards that may come up.
Great. Mr. Myers?
With the electricians, they have a math course that these guys are required to take. Are you guys helping them do that? Because everybody's not up to geometry and some of that stuff.
They still have to be accepted to the apprenticeship before they are, even considered for this. So whatever the,
Why I wanted to ask the question.
yeah, whatever acceptance process that they go through, I would assure would have some basic level of that.
And I did state.
You're doing it.
on.
There, it was on. It's on, no, it's on now.
Yeah. So, the wire's in front of it, that's why I'm not. Yeah, and I stated, there's a lot out there for commercial. Well, the IBW is one of the trades that spends a lot of time training for residential. They have a residential block. They do residential work. They have residential contractors. So, unlike some of the other trades, that don't really get into too much residence, they do. So it does, in my opinion, it fits. Thank you.
Great.
So are there any other questions about the whole home program entirely? I know it's a lot of information all at once. It's a fluid program. We're constantly getting guidance from the state on things. So, if you guys have anything that pops up, feel free to let us know.
So I have a question. On
thing.
the committee review, who will be on that committee? So community leaders throughout the county, including municipal, what is NPO?
Nonprofit organizations and
Like
so
the
yeah.
CACLV?
So CACLV, since they are a part of they have contracted with Lehigh County to run Lehigh County's whole home program. We're kind of leaving them out of this one in particular, but we try to get a wide ranging of representatives from Bethlehem, Easton, Nazareth, Slate Belt, our western portion of our county, Forks, Hellertown, Habitat for Humanity, and then internal staff as well as council members.
Okay. And will this be, I'm just going to leave it at that, because I think that's fine.
Just to clarify, so I got it straight in my head. So that committee is going to give the thumbs up or thumbs down on a $20,000 or less grant for home repair? Is that, I know they're vetted first, make sure they fit, then it goes to this committee, and at the committee, much like we did the, they actually decide that, is that correct?
Correct. Ultimately, it is this committee that will make the approvals for grants.
Thank you.
And then the committee would deliver a spreadsheet of some sort to the council like they did for the American Rescues or money, like those small business grants?
Currently, that is, potential for the process. We'll have to further detail whether it's something we need to. This is more of a, we're trying to get the money out as quickly as possible and making
do
sure it's
understand that.
streamlined. So
I
we're trying to
do.
get this streamlined.
I understand that. I do think that this council, knowing the past, that they would probably want that.
Sure, understood.
Yeah. All right, great, thank you.
Anything else?
I don't know, you had two other members in the audience. Did they have anything to say? I mean, we got some time.
I think we're all set. I mean, if you guys have any other detailed questions, we're always here. Yeah.
I do not have
We've
any.
been diligent on putting this all together, and we look forward to getting it all going. Sure.
Well, when do you anticipate this actually, the first check go out? I mean, roughly, I mean, are we looking 3 months from now, 6 months, a year?
So I would say, right now we're trying to be diligent in formulating the intake process. I think the announcement of even applying will probably be beginning in fall.
Beginning of fall, so really, we're looking sometime beginning, end of the year, next year,
Yeah.
until checks go out.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I thought it was more like July.
So part of this was trying to come through with making sure the intake process is as settled as possible, which includes an online portion of it. So even though we have an ERAP program through a system called Yardi, it would require us to create a whole new one, or else we would take away information.
Okay, well, then I have a question.
Sure.
So, with how we distributed the small business loans, I remember when the chamber was here, they said they literally knocked on doors, sent out things. How are people going to know that they can apply for this program? Because some of the people who are actually the most in need of this might not have computer access, and especially if they're elderly or disabled or in some capacity, doing the intake form on a computer would be difficult.
So that's a part of, we worked with, like I said, over, 1,500 landlords and people who were, at risk of being evicted. We see a general crossover of, that level of income, and we want to make sure that people have liaisons, and that's why we're doing it this way. So that people have to go to the homeowner advocates, have a conversation with them, have their documentation in hand to walk them through the system to make sure that they're eligible. We could just open it up to be, if you have an email and you have an internet access, this kind of creates it a way so that you may not have those utilities, but if you go to the homeowner advocates, they can help you apply for you.
I'd imagine that way too, excuse me,
No, that's okay, I got you.
you might, I'm just thinking out loud, you might actually flush any potential fraud. It's a lot easier to do fraud over an internet than it is face-to-face. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're thinking, but that kind of dawned on me.
Yeah, no, as much as we're trying to have a benefit for our constituents on giving them professionals who can help them in, various social and, physical aspect of applying for it, it's also one extra layer of vetting to make sure we're not dealing with, spam accounts trying to apply for things.
Yeah, totally, I understand that. Will the homeowner advocates visit somebody in their home? Or would somebody have to go to an office? Because if you're talking about somebody who has limited income, you're also talking about barriers not only with technology, but maybe even transportation.
So the homeowner advocates are all specialized in social services. I bet if there's someone who is in that situation, they will do what is necessary to help people out.
So someone could call homeowner advocates, say that I'm not able to get there, I would like to schedule a home visit.
Yeah, potentially, yeah, that is a possibility.
Okay. Okay, I'm satisfied, thank you. Anybody else? We're good? Excellent.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for your time.
And thank you all for all the work that you're doing on this. This is a really important program. All right. Excellent. So that brings us to adjournment. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Another good partnership. Have a good evening. Thanks so much.